Hello, YouTube, and welcome to episode 20 of the In Your Head podcast. It's been 20 episodes so far. It doesn't feel like it, but it's getting there. I am your host, as always, Jesse, and with me on the couch today, I have one of the hosts of the This Delinquent Life podcast and one of the finalists in the South Jersey Stand-Up Championships, Chris Stenta. Chris, how are you, sir?
I think I've been a finalist on that twice. I don't know.
I didn't see the previous one, which Isley won. I wasn't.
I wasn't in the finals that year. I was in the finals the one before that one. I think Ben Fiddler won.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was one even before that.
There was a bunch, I think.
Oh, okay.
I've only been to two of them. Or three of them. I don't know. You should know. You're in.
No, I don't. I wasn't there. I wasn't part of the old guard or anything like that. I know that there was a lot of guys around there before I showed up. I've only been at High Note for a little over a year, I guess. And, they'd all talked about Isley being the champion. But
there was a previous.
Okay.
But he doesn't really do comedy anymore. He's the one who drew for, he does Toxic. He drew for Nick Cupsey's book.
Oh, cool.
He's the one who did the art for the Wawa book. He's a former winner of the South Jersey Championship.
So I'll definitely have to see if I can talk with Cupsey. I was interested in
have Cupsey on here, have Fiddler on here, Mike Brooks. These are all South Jersey comic. Yeah. Well, not really. We're from all over the place, but we all tell jokes in South Jersey.
Yeah, well, I don't mind the local guys. You know, the local Philly, Jersey scene. It's been a lot of cool guys, and meeting a lot of these guys has been great through High Note and getting around. I think it's been a lot of great guys, and it's been an awesome experience really meeting everybody.
A lot of weirdos.
Yeah, but you get that anywhere, really. When you boil it down, you get that anywhere.
Yeah, especially if you're in New Jersey at an open mic.
That
you're going to get more than most places.
Yeah, that I definitely can't deny that. I wish I could.
I've seen some things. Suburbs have, like suburbs of Philadelphia, if it's Doylestown and PA, or if it's like Haddonfield or Paulsboro, is that a place?
Paulsboro's a place, yeah.
I've told jokes in all sorts of weird places, and the suburbs can get just as rowdy or crazy as Philly, but it just looks different. They just wear different clothes, but it's the same type of assholes everywhere.
That I'm not going to argue at all, believe me. I've known this whole area my whole life, so I'm familiar with it. So before we start the interview proper, as I ask everybody who comes on here, I ask everybody for our Statute of Initiation question, which is something that you got to bring to the table that you've done that was maybe marginally illegal, but you're not real proud of.
I've done a bunch of those. But the first time I got in trouble with the police, I was 12 years old, I think. I was like 12. And this was in the 90s, I guess. So it was different. But we were in this pavilion. So me and my buddy Dumb Bob was his nickname. And this was at 12, his nickname. And now we're like 32 is still his nickname, I think.
That's a hard one to shake.
And now he's got kids and everything. But so me and Bob are going to like this pavilion. It's like this like office buildings, and we would run up and we would do stuff and like mess around. We were kids, and me and Dumb Bob are spitting like in the pavilion, like indoors. And this old lady starts yelling at us. So then Dumb Bob like gives her the finger. And they start arguing, and I'm laughing because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. So then we leave, and then the cops show up, and they like yell at us, and they try to like cuff us together, but we got like little kid wrists, so it doesn't work. You know, it was like 12. He was older. He was probably like 15. He was older than me, but we're in the same grade because he was Dumb Bob. And so they start yelling at us, and Dumb Bob is like losing it. He's real upset, and like I'm upset. We don't know what's going on. And then he's like hysterical, and we're like in the back of the cop car. He's like, I'm gonna get beat and all this. And then the cop like starts yelling at us. He's like, which one of you flipped a bird at this lady? And I had no idea what he was talking about. Like I never heard that before. It was like flip the bird. Like we were indoors. There's no birds. And then he's like, don't play dumb with me. And I was like, dude, I'm hanging out with Dumb Bob. Like, we're not playing. Like, we don't make good decisions. And they just kept getting madder. And then I was like, dude, like, what do you mean flip the bird? Like, I never heard that before in my life. And he's just like, give the middle finger. And I was like, oh, yeah, we did that. Like, it was like, what the fuck? Both, like, you're mad at that? And then, like, yeah, they took us to the station. We had to wait for my parents to show up. And I was, like, little. Like, I was young.
Well, yeah, like you said, 12. That's usually not spending a lot of time in the PD at 12 years old.
No, but then they just banned us from the pavilion for, like, life. But, like, we would just keep going. I got kicked out of there a lot. We'd go in on, like, half days, and we'd go up to office elevators and just, like, fucking move people's staplers. Like, fuck with people. And they would, if there's, like, 8 kids just running around back then, nobody knew what to do. So they just, like, call security. But then security's like, what do you want? I can't, like, assault kids.
Yeah, so
then they call cops, but by the time the cops come, we're usually out.
Yeah.
But at 12, I didn't even understand what was going on. I don't even know how they were so mad. But I grew up in a small town, so the cops would just go after kids all the time. It was kind of like a game.
They had nothing better to do in a small town, I guess.
Yeah, and we would they hated our block. They would just fuck with us. So we'd fuck with them. It was interesting.
So I'm guessing from this. So what small town is this? If I can ask.
Yeah, Jenkintown.
Oh, okay. So out there. All right. So I guess there wasn't really much else to do.
That's what that show, The Goldbergs, is about. My town. But in the 80s, I grew up there. In the 90s, or like, yeah, I was born in 85, so like 90s, 2000s.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a weird place. It's like got a Dazed and Confused vibe. It's very like liberal and 50s. It's a weird throwback. Like when I was going to school, we had like a jukebox in the cafeteria. We had like shop class, home ec, like things that other places at the time I think gave up on.
Yeah.
So it was weird.
Yeah.
It was a small school. Like I knew the same kids from like preschool until I graduated high school. It's like graduating class was 60 kids, and it was public school.
Yeah, it's not a lot. So that's yes. I love the different stories. Just I mean that fits with your podcast for sure. This Delinquent Life. I mean that just seems like it just fits the shell right there.
Oh yeah, and if you talk to Tommy Turner or Beano Brogdon, the other two that do the show with me, we come from different spots, but there's always the same stories. You know, it's always. I mean, I knew a kid when I was like, I guess like 14, 15. I was working at a movie theater. I knew a guy from South Philly who, this was in the news at the time. These 2 kids stole a school bus.
Stole a school bus?
Yeah, he stole a school bus and started driving it. Like he didn't like hotwire it. The dude left the key on, steals the school bus, goes around the block, and then I seen him like a couple weeks later. Like they tried to send him to juvie. But yeah, I was friends. He was younger than me, so so I guess at the time I was probably older. Like I was probably working there for a while, so I was probably like 16, 17. But he was probably like 14, 15. And you can't get in much trouble if you steal a school bus when you're young. There's not much. I guess I mean, what he gets in trouble for is all this stupid shit adds up. Like I knew a kid named Wout from Abington, and he'd get harassed by the cops all the time because they'd always fuck with us because we smoked weed, and they would just try to catch us. And he got caught like 3 weekends in a row. No, 3 days in a row with weed. Trying to leave work.
It's even worse.
Yeah, and the third time is the last time I heard of him because he just spit in the cop's face.
Oh.
And they just beat his ass, and I never seen him again. Wow. He was good at baseball, but it doesn't help you. You can't spit in the cop's face.
No, I mean, you got to draw the line somewhere. I mean, I understand all the different sides of the way people feel about, law enforcement.
But it's annoying when they harass you every day. Like, I was stopped probably on my way home walking at it was late and I was young, but I would get stopped every day. They'd always ask me for weed. They knew who I was. They'd search me every day and never find anything. And it's just like, who I am. Like, stop. I got work. I'm like, I have to get home. And they would just fuck with us. And then, so Wow was stupid because, I would always smoke it and then go walk home. He would still have some on him and they'd catch him. But, they'd search me every day and never find anything. And it's like, yeah. At some point, you want to just fucking punch them, but you can't. See, it's not fair. You can't punch a cop. You have to pretend to like them.
Yeah.
You have to smile. Like, there's cops I respect that I dealt with, but only as an adult. As a kid, they would fucking treat me like shit.
Yeah. I guess in an atmosphere where you're growing up like that, and in a town where,
well,
you know,
everyone in the
small.
town was drinking and smoking and doing shit, but they couldn't pick on everyone, so they just picked on certain people. Then you can get away with it. You pick on the rich kids, or you pick on somebody with a mom who's gonna fucking, you know, investigate it and write you up, like, you know, go after you. Like, those cops learn quick who you can fuck with and who you can't.
Yeah, that's true. So that leads me into this Delinquent Life podcast, because it seems to fit perfect. Is that where a lot of this came from? Where the idea, well, especially the name. I mean, it didn't seem like that was much of the discussion.
Well,
when
I
was on
started doing Delinquent Comedy. I've done stuff with under that name with other people before too. Like, I've done Delinquent Comedy with Joe Murdoch and James Mashuli. And Bino started with we did some other, like, you know, worked on some bits and sketches and writing. But yeah, it's mainly just working with people. Because if you go to Mike's Ladder, you go to shows a lot, you'll see there's different types of comedy and different backgrounds and different comics. And a lot of the comedies, you know, it's like modernized Dice Clay shit. You know, you got like that clique, or you got like nerd comics who'll do like Comic-Con, like some, you know, like Noah. Noah will do like comic events, and
Right.
he'll do, you know, a podcast out of a comic book store, and it's like you got comics like that, and then you got like hipster comics who'll talk about Tinder and job, you know, how they fit. Like, there's a whole style of comedy in Philly where it's basically you talk about how you're a loser and also killing it at the same time. There's like that style. And when I noticed, when I was coming up like 4 years ago, starting stand-up, certain comics that I like, their style was like not necessarily raunchy, but they're talking about heroin addiction. They're talking about getting shot. They're talking about being homeless. They're talking about being, or it's as simple as just like one of my, like Joe Murdoch's got a joke just about, you know, drinking semen. You know, it could be like that. It could be raunchy, but it also has to be smart, and it's got to be clever, and it's not necessarily like a type of comedy. Like, it could be slapstick, and it could be puns, and it could be horror, and it could be, I like all these things. It's more just the attitude, where you're coming from. Like, it's almost like blues comedy. Like, you have to like seen some shit. You're not just doing a pun about a cat, or you're not talking about your Tinder date failing and how you get all these Tinder dates or some dumb, you know.
Yeah. No, I see what you mean.
So I try to work with those guys.
You gotta have kind of been there, which, again, I'm gonna say his name again. I've said it probably almost half my podcast, but like Kyle Kinane is kind of the comedian I think of when you say something like that, because a lot of his stories seem to come from his life and the shit that he talks about and that he's done, and that's what I think about when I see a guy who's.
Or it could be a guy like to me, like Stephen Wright, who's not a storyteller.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, like, it's not necessarily like, or like, because Murdoch, he's a big pun guy and he's a wordplay artist, but it's like you can feel that one-liner comes from a real place. It's not some like Larry the Cable Guy like talking about pooping in a Heckinger's or whatever. Yeah. Or Home Depot, whatever the fuck it is.
Oh man, you're dating yourself now. I remember those stores from back in the day.
But
younger viewers might not know those old hardware stores from way back.
We used to steal the lawnmowers when I was a kid, because you get the one. And here's something you learn from delinquents is there's a lot of shit people think you can't do, but you can do whatever you want. You know, as long as you're not a piece of shit. Usually they're like, all right, is this a kid driving around the store in a lawnmower? Most 18, like, and at the time too, kids were working, so it was like. Most employees are like 18, 19. You know, they're not like now. It's like there's 70-year-olds fucking working at Home Depot. You're like, what the fuck, dude? Retire, but they can't because they, you know.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get into fucking
we don't need politics.
economics.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's not like an 18-year-old who's high as shit working at a Home Depot back in the day, or Heckinger's would give a fuck if he saw a 14-year-old stealing a lawnmower. No. Like they just would laugh, and you'd all laugh, and then like this guy would walk up and you'd run. You know, you could get away with a lot with just, you know. But if you run it into something and you do cause a lot of damage, then you really got to run.
Yeah, I mean, we were a little bit like that. We were a little crazy. We our old trick back in the stores was we'd tie fishing line between shit in a store. So somebody'd be pushing their cart and walk through, and it would pull the shit off the shelves. So they'd be walking along, and they'd have no idea, and just shit falling off the shelves on them, and it would, that was our horrible.
I like it.
It was a good trick. I mean, it wasn't always breakable shit. Like we do it in the toy aisle and stuffed bears and shit falling on people. It was, we were fucking around. We weren't trying to hurt anybody, but like you said, we're not causing damage. We're not wrecking the store, but people are like, "Why is this shit falling over?" They had no idea what's going on.
It's a good bit.
It was a good one. That was one of our favorites. So, So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed your podcast. I was on it. If you haven't seen it, I'll post a link below to this Delinquent Life if you guys haven't seen it.
And we do a live one at Good Comedy Theater once a month too.
And definitely get out there and check that out. For all the people who are local, Good's great. I've had a lot of guys on here that do a lot of work at Good. Lemaire, actually, I believe he was my episode 4, 3, somewhere in there. So Lemaire was here. I know he does some work at Good. And
he's from Bumblefuck, PA.
He's way out there?
Well, he's in Philly now, but when I first met him, he was living in, like, I don't know where. It's either Harrisburg or Lancaster, probably Lancaster. But I get all these Bumblefuck guys confused. They're from, like, because that whole region, they, like, travel together and come down, even if it's, like, I know Mark Stoudemire, Buddy Harris, John Koppel, I think Lamar Lee and Brandon Crick and Shane Gillis all coming from Lancaster.
Wow, they all wandered in from out in the land of no electricity.
And then they come to fucking Philly, which is like, dude, go to New York. What are you coming to Philly for?
That's got to be a culture shock.
This is a dying city. No, I guess Philly's on the rise. I don't know.
I think it's turning around. It's doing pretty good. It's doing all right.
There's no industry here.
There's no industry, but there's city. There's plenty of city.
I guess compared to Harrisburg, yeah.
Yeah, there's much less than Harrisburg.
I like PA. I'm a big Philly guy. I ain't going nowhere. But, I mean, I didn't move. I was born down there. I'm going to die somewhere down there. Not much you can do about it.
Well, people got to definitely check out his podcast. But between you and your two hosts, that you guys are a blast to be on. And I'm going to bring this up because I don't think we got to actually finish this discussion as rightly as we probably should have. But we were talking about favorite sports movies when we were on there. And I don't think we got to go through all the good sports movies. So I think I'd mention my favorite football movie, which was The Replacements.
I like that.
I was a huge Replacements fan.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I mean it was that or Longest Yard, and then I said the remake,
which Longest
the
Yard?
remake.
Okay.
I'm too young for the.
I
original.
tried watching the Burt Reynolds one. It was like dry, slow.
Yeah, I saw pieces, but never saw the whole thing, and maybe it's all right.
I like Remember the Titans' football movie.
Yeah,
and I like that college one where the dude was on steroids, like Playmakers or some shit. I don't know,
Yeah.
or The Program. Check
Okay.
out The Program. That
Yeah.
guy, they got cokeheads and fucking drug addicts in there. It's like real raw,
yeah,
but it's not a comedy.
Yeah, there's a lot of good football movies, but I guess with a movie like that, it's a comedy, it's fun. Excuse me, it's enjoyable to watch. So I guess I kind of got hooked on.
I like The Kicker.
The Irish guy, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
he's
cigarettes who lost the bet.
He's in a lot of good movies. Actually, he was in a lot then. I really haven't seen him much since. He's been kind of off the radar since.
And what? Orlando Jones was in that.
Yeah,
It was a good cast. Comics.
Did we get to baseball when we were talking about
baseball movies?
Good baseball.
I think somebody said The Rookie. Or no, not the Rookie of the Year. The kid who broke his arm. It might have been me.
I was a major league guy. The first
Devon.
major league. Yeah, the first major.
I
league
like the
movie.
second one. I like all of them. The second one's got the marbles guy.
Yeah, you got no marbles.
And the chicken. Yeah, I liked it. It's a relatable team because when I was a kid, it was the '93 Phillies, and that team we had a wild thing.
Yeah.
That team is about the Indians, but the Indians were losers too. So it was a relatable movie, and Charlie Sheen didn't have AIDS yet. he wasn't winning.
He wasn't bonkers. He didn't lose his shit.
2.5 Men didn't fucking make him do coke till he died inside.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of isn't that Hollywood anymore? Isn't that what happened?
Well, that's what it's always been. I mean, he's a legacy, right? His dad's Martin Sheen, his brother, Estevez.
Yeah,
he probably grew up fucked. Straight from the
Yeah, when you come into a household where it's all Hollywood, it can't end well. I mean, look at any Hollywood household. It always ends up crazy. Parents divorced. Everything.
Well, it starts
bonkers.
fucked. That's a whole nother mess. Hollywood. And comedy industry and all these industries are a bunch of fucking perverts.
That's a disaster right now. I mean, that whole thing.
And it's not new either. It's a bunch of powerful fucking losers.
Yeah, and it's just turning real bad. I mean, it shouldn't have been like that. I mean, the way people have been doing stuff. I didn't know what was going on. It's not like I knew. Like, oh, I knew what was it. No, it never should have. It shouldn't be to be in Hollywood.
But I mean, yeah, that's just how.
But it's such a huge majority. Like, it wasn't.
But
like,
it's not just Hollywood.
Well,
that's the church. That's the government. That's any institution with a powerful men.
Yeah, it seemed to be coming.
And you can even see it in lower levels, like in open mic scenes. You see guys trying to like run mics so they can have this little bit of power. Even like I've done LARPing, live action role playing, and you'll see guys that are like try to be kings so they can have like in-game power over men and women.
Wow.
And it's and that extends to the real life. Now people love, because power in general is just fake, right? It just means a bunch of people believe in you and will do what you say. But and then maybe there's paperwork that matches it.
Yeah.
But it's all nonsense, right? Just like we were saying earlier, like you could just go around a store and fucking pretend you run the place, and if nobody never met the owner, you might get away with it. Like power is just such a fucking weird thing. That's why that's why people wear nice clothes or have fake cars and shit, or have more money shown than actually, because it's perceived power.
Yeah.
And it could be from getting booked at a comedy club, or it could be from fucking casting a movie. And you see how some of these guys act, and it's just like, yeah, they don't even want to be comics. They just want power, money, and whatever that gives you.
Yeah, that prestige.
So if a fucking Mike in Philly can get disturbed by a bunch of like predators, then why wouldn't Hollywood? You know what I mean? Like, it's just to me, it seems very logical. A bunch of people that aren't satisfied, that didn't get laid in high school, that are working real hard to get approval from their peers. And it's like, yeah, I bet a lot of them are monsters. You know what I mean? Like, let's just be honest.
No, it is.
And you have to be a narcissist if you want to be in Hollywood or make it in any industry, right? Like, if you want to be famous, and this is a problem with the world right now. The number one thing for kids nowadays, their number one goals is not even money or happiness. It's fame.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could see it. If you want to be famous, then you're willing to allow things that you shouldn't be okay with happening. Because you're like, well, he's the gatekeeper, so I'll let him be a creep because I need him to like me. Yeah. And then you just allow these creeps to get away with their behavior. And then it's like, yeah, why? Because the top guy is a creep. So he's pushing creep behavior and he's promoting creeps.
Yeah, and
that's what the Weinsteins did, and that's what you see a lot of comedy club owners do and bookers. They're just creeps, and they promote creeps because they think creeps are good people, because they think they're a good person.
Yeah, well,
it's a fuckery.
And the fame isn't helping anything, because I think that's the problem with especially the most recent incident that was down in Florida, the school shooting. You know, they do that so.
Well, if you want fame or infamy, either way, you know, it's easy to take advantage of you.
Yeah, and that's what people are doing, and it's fucking horrible, man. It is bad, but
I mean, people are eating Tide Pods to get
online
likes or something.
I don't understand that one.
Well, I get it. It's just peer pressure, and and people see, peer pressure should only work on adolescents, not on adults.
Yeah.
And that's what the Tide Pods was working on, adolescents. I don't think there are many adults eating doing that.
I hope not. I really hope that there's nobody with a kid eating Tide Pods, because that's just. There's a point in your life where you got to grow up. I mean,
and what's happening right now is you have a whole bunch of people my age that are not. They're just man children. They just do whatever they want. They don't fucking work. They live in their parents' basement. They work part time, maybe, or maybe they work for their family's business. They don't.
Yeah. No responsibilities.
They don't even give a shit. And they don't do things for other people because why? And they just don't understand. It's like, at some point when you're a kid, you realize like, oh, I have to do things I don't like doing for, my mom or for someone.
Yeah.
And these people are like 30, 35, 40 and don't even realize this. And they're just like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's not going to be fun. It's like, no shit, dude. Like, nothing, like, life's not fun. Like, what the fuck fantasy world have you been living in for 35 years where all you do is play World of Warcraft and eat Doritos while your mom makes you dinner? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and it's messed up, but everybody's been growing up being told they're special. And that's a lot of the problem. Everybody's being grown up, being told they're special. You're special. No, you're. The Fight Club tells it the best. I mean, it's nobody's special. You're just another person out there. You just got to do your thing and go through it and get,
Well, it's a weird psychologically, because it's like, yeah, the kids that I know that were the most talented when I was growing up were told they were special, and it didn't help them, right? Like, they flamed out. Like, the one was a football star, ended up getting addicted to drugs. One was a artist, musician, ended up getting addicted to drugs. So just because people tell you, just even if you are special and at a young age, I mean, that's not necessarily a good thing. Sometimes it's good to learn to fail early and fast and be told you suck, because then, you have a chip on your shoulder. Like the Eagles team, right? That's a big part of that Kelsey speech. Like, just because you're told you're a loser, I mean, that's what motivates a lot of people to not be losers.
You need some pushback sometimes. You need that little bit of...
Or maybe you're just a late bloomer.
Yeah.
You didn't hit puberty yet, and you're competing with fucking grown men.
Yeah.
And you just need time.
Right.
But I mean, then there's people like LeBron James who are just better than everyone when he was born, and he's going to be better than everyone when he's dead. It's just at one thing. Not at every other thing, but I mean, like, there are just savants.
Yeah.
But then, a lot of it also has to do with where you're born and what outlets you have available to you. Like, I had options. Other people, because I was in a pretty rich school, I had a lot of options people with my income might not have. So it's like, like, a lot of people, like, I know that I met in college when I was in New York City, or that I met in work in other parts. They are very similar to me, but they have a GED. They don't have a college degree, and the only difference really is just, their parents' backgrounds. My parents had moved to a different place than their parents, and because of that, my options were better than theirs. And if I was in their spot, I realized I would probably be the one with the GED and in and out of jail. So it's like, life's fucked.
Yeah.
So I don't think calling people special helps or hurts them. I mean, at some point you got to grow up and realize, like, a lot of people that I thought were smart are like, not very smart. And you got to start, like, trusting yourself more and stop, like, just doing what everyone else says.
Yeah. Or you end up like Dumb Bob.
Well, I mean, Dumb Bob on paper now, I guess, would be pretty successful. He's got a job. He's got kids. He's got a wife. But yeah, like, not the life for me.
Right.
But I mean, he had to work hard, because if your nickname's Dumb Bob,
if you were 15 in the same grade with people that were 12 years old, that nickname's gonna stick. Unfortunately, when you're graduating and you're drinking on the same night, I think there's a problem.
Yeah, he was 21. But I mean, I was young for my grade too. I graduated at 17. Okay.
That's nothing. It's nothing wrong with that, man. That's good. It's you're not Dumb Bob. You're not out there just. How many times did he just get left back a lot, or did he start?
I think first grade, they left him back a couple times.
Oh man.
But I mean, yeah, he had learning problems. That's life. But
yeah.
Hey, like I said, I know people that were way smarter than him that are dead. So it's like, fuck. You know what I mean? And he's got a kid, he got a job, and he pays his bills. So he's doing better than most.
That's it.
And he's not in college debt because he didn't go.
It's not a bad way to go, really. That's really not bad. I mean,
but we did some dumb shit, like he would sniff highlighters, like glue. And then you're like, well, was it the glue or was he? But it's so, chicken egg thing.
Yeah. Bob doesn't care.
You're sniffing glue. You're probably not smart to begin with. And then it doesn't make you smarter. So then it just becomes a fucking... But nice guy,
No, I've met a lot of nice guys who ain't real bright. And it's, it's unfortunate they're not real bright, but they're great guys. And I don't take anything away from them if you're a nice guy. I'd rather know a dumb, nice guy than 1,000 assholes who know what's going on.
I'm torn. I don't... I think there's way too many dumb, nice people, and there needs to be at least some, I rather, as far as policymakers go, I would rather them be educated assholes, and as far as comedians go, I'd rather them be educated, funny assholes, than to just be this fucking shell of a fucking host, who's just like, hey, let's give it up for and let's talk like this, and let's give it up for the club for being such a great club, and drink specials are $9.99. Like, that's not comedy. That's trash. These cookie cutter shitty hosts. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. I would rather you be an asshole and not be pleasant. If you're fine. I'm all about skill, and I think this is where I get, where I might be called an elitist sometimes. I had a guest on my show call me an elitist because, like, no, if you're stupid and have stupid opinions, like, no, I've already heard your stupid opinions because you're a parrot. Like, I don't need to rehear the same shit that you're spewing that every other moron's spewing. Either be at my, like, because what nitwits do is they're fucking looking up at you and they go, oh, if I was where you're at, I would do this and I would do that and I would do this. And then you have to talk to them and be like, look, I know you think you're smarter than me, but you're not, so just pay attention. You're at step 1, I'm on step 7. You don't see where I'm going, so you're complaining about things you don't understand. You just don't see the level I'm at yet. I can help you get to my level, and then we can have an actual discussion. But if you're still stuck on 2 + 2, I cannot explain to you the theory of relativity. Yeah. Like, it's just, sorry, I can't fucking do it, and I'm not going to waste my time doing it. And if that makes me an elitist, and I'm an asshole, then fine, go fuck yourself. Go back to sorting pills, you dumb assholes. But I mean, it also has to do with the way I talk and how I look. A lot of people talk down to me like I'm a fucking idiot. So then it's just like, okay, I don't even bother until they prove to me. But then I also don't want to talk down to people because I get talked down to a lot. So then it's like, what ends up happening is I give someone a chance, and then they talk to me like I'm stupid, and I'm like, all right, fuck you. I'm going to figure it out, and then once you figure out what I said, then come back to me. I'm not going to explain my every decision to all these. So back to what you were saying is I'd rather deal with smart assholes that talk to me up front instead of sneaky, fake, weaselly, likable nitwits. No, but there's obviously these are just generalizations.
Yeah, no, I can see it in the comedy world. I don't know if I would. I see what you're saying as far as the comedy world, but I think as far as like my friends, I think I'd rather have a dumb Bob.
Oh yeah, because you don't want to be constantly competing to be the best thing ever with some asshole. Yeah. But that's how you be. I mean, if you want to be Michael Jordan, you're not going to be a nice person. Yeah. If you want to be the greatest at anything, if it's comedy, like if you want to be Jay Leno and have all these cars, then you're going to be a scumbag. Like, you're not going to be a person I want to be friends with. No. But I mean, that's capitalism. I don't know. Yeah. It's this weird fight I have with myself because do you want to be likable or do you want to be good? Can you be both? It's hard. Sometimes you got to tell someone they're a fucking idiot. I want to do it my way. Like Dan Harmon is one of the best writers, I think, for a while on TV, and he's doing Rick and Morty now, producing. He's an asshole. He's a piece of shit. He's not someone you want to be friends with. But he is someone you want to go to the trenches with if you have to write a project to 24 hours straight. But he's not someone you can rely to pick up your kids or, like, get you coffee. Like, he's just an asshole. He only cares about himself. He's trying to create this masterpiece. So, yeah, I agree with you. I do not want to be friends with these people, but I don't want to be... I'm at the point where I'm an adult and I have enough fucking friends anyway. I'm not a big fan of people. Like, I like meeting new people and then leaving. Like, I'm a transient, a gypsy. If I stay too long, because I'm like the type of person who's very hard to get along with once you're with me a long time. Because if I do have faith in you, I will expect a lot. Yeah. Like, if I put you in on a project I'm working on or something, and there's a lot of people don't realize this, but like, yeah, if I'm working on like a personal project or something, I'm trying to create like a cartoon or writing or something, and I want you to help me with it, it's like, yeah, like there's certain standards I want. And I get it's a passion project, so if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But it's like, yeah, I can yell and I can fight. Like, I'm an animal. I come from a crazy place.
No, I can feel you 100% because when I work something, I do it the whole way. Like when you're talking about doing, you showed me a little bit of the cartoon you were working on before we started this, and I know how it is to work on a project and want to do it. And when you do something, you want to go through, and it's not going to be right until it's right. And
it'll never be right? Like, you can just constantly edit it until you beat yourself to death, and it's worse than the fucking fifth. And that's why you need deadlines, and you need to all be on board. And it's
but to see people who just take something and just go, that drives me crazy because they just don't. Somebody who doesn't want to spend that time when they might have the resources to do something, and they might have Like they have a thing that they're doing, and maybe it's a great thing, but they just don't want to put that time or the energy. I mean, if for anybody who's been watching this to see the first couple episodes that this was, I mean, basically there was no backdrop. There was one mic that was hiding in here, a little wireless lav that I had, so the sound was bad. I mean, we were still comfortable, we were still talking, but we still the video really wasn't great video quality. And I'm like, you know what? I wanted to make the sound right. I wanted to make it something decent. I wanted to make it something for everybody who's watching to watch, and I wanted to push myself like that. Now, I don't have hundreds of dollars to invest in it. I have a mortgage. I have a house. You know, I have a job and a car, and everything. I can't spend all kinds of money, but to have that kind of drive, I'm like, well, I can do this to make it better. I can do these little things to make it better. And that's, I feel you. Like, you have no idea. I feel you when you say having people who want to do something and not push themselves to do it and not want to hang on board. And it's just,
and you might be right. Like, that's the difference between friends and coworkers. But if I take comedy as something I'm doing to get friends and be like well liked, that's not what I want. Right. I'm doing comedy, and it's not even to make money or to get famous or anything like that. It's just like, no, I want to see something that doesn't exist, and I want to make it exist. If you're not on board with that, my vision, that's fine. But if I'm in charge of the project, well, then that's my vision. If you're in charge of the project, I'll do whatever you want me to do that's in my skill set to help you get your vision across. But if I'm the captain, then you got to respect my vision.
Yeah.
And it's tough, like, you know, because people always just want to judge and nitpick and try to add to it to make it better and edit or help you edit. But sometimes it's just like, dude, I'm in the middle of drawing a face and you're telling me, what is this? It's like, dude, I didn't even finish the nose yet. Of course you don't know what it is. Just pay attention and shut the fuck up and have faith in me, at least, that when the thing's done, it'll look like a fucking face.
Yeah.
Or not. It's tough working with, I'm just not good at working with other people. And I need to work with people that I think are at a certain level, but that also can fight back with me because I am such an aggressive person. So somebody needs to be able to be like, hey, Chris, like, I know you want to do it this way, but like, I'll yell at you until you change your mind. Because, like, you know, that's how I operate. But I do construction and I do other art projects and I do, you know, so skilled work. If you do skilled work, you realize, like, and this is where comedy comes into play too, because it is skilled work to me. Like, you could be a super asshole and show up late if you're fucking the man. Like, if you can build a fucking marble stairs and you're the best at building marble stairs and you do it the quickest and save money, then you can show up late and smoke weed and fucking have long hair and fucking have tattoos, you know? But if you're okay, well, then you need to be the nephew and you need to have, like, dress nice and be on time and be likable. But the bigger of an asshole you are usually means the more shit you can get away with. And that's how that's how just skilled works, like skilled labor works, you know?
Yeah. And it's like, it seems the same with comedy, watching people build something and perfect it and take a joke or whatever they're working on and turn it into, like, if
you can't just build a joke in a week and then have a new joke next week and then a new joke next week and it takes you 5 years to just get a story into a good fucking tight joke.
Yeah.
If it is a story, you can turn a story into a one-liner. It might take 3 years because you got to keep cutting, add tags, edit. Like you're saying, you don't just write and be like, I'm genius, I'm done. You have to test it and say it right and test your timing and test your word usage and your pacing and your setup. And then, what if I put it in the front of my set? What if I put it in the middle? But a lot of it is just fucking bullshit, right? It's just fucking words. You know, that's all the fuck you're doing. You're just fucking convincing someone that what you're saying is worthy of being heard, or then to the next level, worthy of being laughed at, which is
an involuntary response anyway.
Yeah, well, unless you go to enough mics, you see a lot of people fake laugh.
I mean, I'm sure I get to hear my share of that every week when I'm over at the mic. Fortunately, I do try to keep it to one mic a week usually. So.
And if you want to get good at comedy, really good, you need to really be doing at least 4 or 5 plus nights a week. And I've stopped doing that as much open mics. I get on more shows now, but yeah, and that's why you got to go to New York, LA, because it's the only place you can really compete. You go to these places in Jersey, or whereas in North Carolina, or Miami, Florida. I've been a bunch of places telling jokes, and like what you'll see is most scenes, like, yeah, they only get out twice a week. You get out twice a week, and if I'm in Philly, I get out 4 times a week. Like, I'm just going to be better than you in 2 years. It's not even close. Because if you go out once a week, every week you're relearning your joke. You never get to learn your joke. You got to really do it 5 times in a row, and then you just be like, okay, now I know. You're not relearning every week. You're adding steps. Yeah. That's why the guys in New York, they could hit like 10 mics. He has 6 mics a fucking night, which is also not the best advice. Hit the right mics, get your minutes in, work on old jokes and new jokes, and keep writing always. But like, yeah, like it's hard to compete with these New York guys who get to go out just so many more times, and they have so many more clubs and so many more options. But, I mean, I met a lot of comics in New York, and they're just as shitty. Like, Philly's got a really good scene but you see the same comics in every city. It's like, all right, like we were saying before, this guy's doing this style joke, this guy's doing this style joke, and then it's like, what style do you like? And then can you be the best in that style? Yeah. And then it's like, or can you create something that's different than anything you've ever seen before, which is way harder to do. And a lot of people get a character, develop a character, develop a point of view, or whatever. So people are like, I'm not a character comic. It's like, oh, well, instead of saying character, you say point of view, but it's the same thing. What's your perspective? You can call it a character or whatever, and then you ham it up, because like nobody really masturbates in front of, like, in a gym, like these are like, or in front of kids. Like, that's a joke. Like, it's not real. Like, a lot of people get so mixed on being authentic and just figure out what works on stage, and that's what you can ham up about yourself, hyperbole, and just go with it. But don't do whatever. But everyone in every city I go to is doing the same fucking shit. Yeah, well, there so disappointing. I don't know why I'm lecturing.
No, it makes sense, because I've had a lot of comics on, and everybody has a lot of different experience from what it was starting out to how to get there and what people do to get there. And I think everybody's got a different track, and to see all that from every different comic and all the different people that have been on here. I mean, you've got a way, you've got a method, and it's solid. I mean, I don't go up. I don't do comedy. Everybody who goes to the mic knows it, and it's probably for good reason. But it's, to see what people do to build it, and watch somebody take a joke and work on a joke and bring it back and keep it, and make the joke better and make it funnier. And, know that I've seen that joke several times, but now if I hear it later, I'm like, oh, this joke's funnier again. This joke's really good, and it's better. As opposed to the guys who just come out and go, and I could write it down here, and it would be the same as the next time I see them, and it would be word for word the next time I see them. And that doesn't feel like you're getting better. You're not honing that edge.
And I've met comics that don't like repeating jokes. They don't like working on a joke that long, especially when they're newer. And because they don't like, see, if you go out to mics once a week or twice a week, this won't happen as much. But if you do, you got a new bit you're working on, and you're going out to 2 mics a night, by the Wednesday, you're already sick of telling that joke. You know what I mean? Because you're just throwing it like 6 times. Well, yeah. You're getting dead to no response. And you're trying to impress other comics, right? Like, there's no industry here. So you're trying to impress other, like, open mic hosts or some bullshit. Which, no offense, you like, that's not something you should be even worried about ever. But people worry about these things. So they don't want to do the same joke, and they say, well, people don't laugh because they already heard it. And it's like, comic Sidney Gant told me some good advice a while ago, was, like, did you like watching the movie? Like, it could be like, I think he was talking about Spaceballs. And it's like, did you like watching it the first time you seen it? And everyone's like, yes. Did you like it the second time you seen it? Yes. Third time? Yes. So he's like, yeah, with your stand-up, be as good as Spaceballs. Be so good, have it so tight that the person could hear it literally 10 times, and the 11th time they want to hear it again. They don't want to be like, I've heard it. That's how tight you have to be if you want to make it. Right. You have to be so tight that joke is so fucking clever. Like a Bernie Mac bit. You can watch the same bit about cookies going down the stairs, and it'll make you laugh every time. Because of the way he tells it, and how long he worked on it, and how he honed the craft. It's not the joke itself. I mean, it's everything. It's the way he talks. It's his tone. It's his mic skills. It's his attitude. It's how he's not afraid of anybody. It's how he can tell the crowd, like, fuck you, listen. And instead of getting mad, they listen. Like, it's just, there's an art to just using a microphone, let alone telling jokes. And then it's like, yeah, you don't even have to do stand-up to write all day. You can write and write. I've been writing stuff that's not even stand-up now, writing scripts, write whatever the fuck I want. Yeah. But now I'm more comfortable. Like, I don't give a fuck about any things. I'm pretty confident in my own ability.
It's good, man.
You can just, I don't have to pander to this fucking shit or that,
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's interesting. I mean, I've seen a lot, and I've learned a lot about comedy and the background of it from having people on, and it's been a cool ride, and that's what I like to see from everybody. I like to see the reality, and again, I try to go deeper. And like I told you before this podcast, it's not the same interview. I don't want to ask you the same boring questions. I want to go a little deeper, and I feel like I'm kind of getting there. So, but I do have a question I ask everybody when I'm on here. I am a bit of a gamer. Just a little bit. I enjoy the old school stuff, and you grew up around the same time, so I like to ask everybody, what is your favorite video game of all time? It could be console, arcade.
I like Civilization.
Civ game.
Sid Meier's.
Yeah, is there a particular one that you'd say was one? I mean,
well, what is it? 4 or 5 is
Okay.
good. One of them they just changed the battle, but I've been playing since Civ 2.
Okay.
Either that, I like Tetris.
Tetris is a good one. I mean, it's a classic.
Yeah, but both of them I've been playing since I was a kid.
Yeah, Civ games are fun. I mean, but
They're hard, but I like them. I learned from my brother when I was a kid. But like, yeah, if you want to get into Civ or turn-based strategy games, it's good to know somebody who teaches you how to play.
yeah,
Because there's just like books and books on it. It's hard, but it's got history and it's got weapons. It's got warfare, diplomacy.
yeah.
I
Civilization.
like
Well, yeah, Civilization was a great one because that just, yeah, you learned a lot about history. You learned about the way different political systems worked and what doing things to your people would
and
do to
ancient buildings and like you
Yeah.
can like give vocabulary words and things. And world leaders,
them. Yeah,
'cause you get to pick a world leader.
and they all have
Country.
their.
And it's like a
style
board
about 'em,
game.
yeah.
I'm a big board game guy. I like turn-based. I like to think, smoke a blunt. I don't like these like I'm not a Call of Duty guy or a fast-paced. I'm not a first-person shooter. I was always into fighting games, basketball, football. Simple shit. It starts and it ends. I don't need a fucking campaign mode or none of that shit.
Yeah, well, it seems with a game like Civ, those things can have a campaign mode. Those things can.
Well,
go
Civ
several
is
nights.
cool because it's just like a never-ending board game.
Yeah.
But it's like it's the game itself is replayable, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not redoing the same franchise mode or not franchise, same story mode or campaign mode. It's like you make a new map every time, and then you
Right.
just play until you take over the world or die. But it's like a mini game, you know what I mean? Like it's a replayable, different. The world map changes, the resources changes, the country you are can change. You can do everything random. You can also the cool thing about Civ games was the players were all nerds, so they all made mods. Like the guy who made Civ 4 or Civ 5 was originally just a nerd who made mods for free. And then he got a job from Sid Meier, and then Sid Meier moved to a different company, and now this guy who's just a fanboy. So they made like if you're into like Game of Thrones, they had a Game of Thrones mod for Civ 3. I didn't even know what Game of Thrones was. I didn't get into that until the movie or the TV show.
Yeah.
But I played this freaking mod before because it'd be like never-ending monsters coming and you have to stop them, and I was into that. So it was like So I mean, Civ is great, but I don't know. What's your favorite game?
My favorite of all time. It's hard to say, but I think for me, it was probably Fallout 3. I think is probably one of my old classics. I love the RPG elements of it. I mean, it's starting to be Fallout 4, but there were some things in Fallout 4 that I was like, eh. But I think Fallout 3 was something because it just had the fun of the shooter, that reward center in your brain from hoarding shit kind of got to me for a while. Like, I'm not a hoarder, but when you could just go back to your house and you had boxes of ammo and guns and shit, and you're just like, you never use it. You're never going to use it. But just getting it and having it, and just, I loved it. I think the first playthrough I ever did of that game, there was always these damaged garden gnomes all around the world. You'd find them all over the place, and they'd be laying around. But once in a while, you'd find a pristine garden gnome, and that's what it was when you highlighted it. And I brought home every pristine garden gnome I ever found, and I had an entire house full of garden gnomes. Just, I don't know why.
Have you ever played Minecraft?
Oh, yeah. I
My
tried.
wife just got into that
Oh.
because our buddy Dom got it for Christmas.
I'm
'cause
sorry to hear that.
I mean, it's good because she played like Animal Crossing when she was a kid and, games like that. So my buddy was like, oh, I should probably like Minecraft because it's kind of like what you're saying. You can just hoard shit and
Yep.
there's no, almost like I guess the reasons I like Grand Theft Auto 3 when I was younger was like it's almost limitless. You can just do nothing and have fun, just like run over hookers. Why not?
Have you
you
heard
could
of
pretend to drive in normal, and just stop at red lights. You can get fucking helicopters.
Have you heard of Stardew Valley?
No.
That's a game she might enjoy. You might want to bring that one up to her. It's very similar to the old farming sim games. You can raise a farm, animals. Very fun game. Most people probably watching this know the game. It's a rehash of all the Harvest Moon kind of games.
That's the one she likes, Harvest Moon. Animal Crossing is not the one she likes. I think she likes Harvest Moon better.
Then you might want to let her know.
I think I tried playing, and you get a fish and all that.
Yeah, you can fish in places, you can get stuff, you can have a house, you can get married.
In Minecraft, you got a dog and shit.
Yeah, and that might be something for her to look at. Is Stardew Valley. Really fun game. It's a good one, cheap on Steam. You can get it, and it's a blast. It's a time sink though, for sure. Trust me. I've spent some
That's
hours.
all life is, man.
I hear you.
I've been playing. Yeah, when I was a kid, I liked playing card games too, like Magic and.
I've still got Magic cards. I've still got them.
So now there's like an app game we've all been playing. That's like a Skyrim like trading card game. So that's like the video game I've been playing the most recently. I've been trying to get into like basketball game. My buddy got me live or whatever the fuck NBA. It's just so much loading and shit. I don't even enjoy it anymore. It's like, and you have to play fucking. It's all hooked up to the internet. I mean, I don't know. I'm an NBA Jam guy.
Oh, that's an old classic. I actually have NBA.
That's where
Jam.
I'm at.
I have NBA Jam right on that arcade cabinet sitting right over there. So yeah, some of the old school stuff's good. Some people kind of discredit.
Well, I like
stuff.
Madden and all. Whoever discredited it is just never played it when they were young, because that's all it is, right? It's just nostalgia.
Well, I don't.
But I like 2D platformers. I like all that stuff.
I think some of the old games still hold up. You look at some of the Nintendo and Super Nintendo games from back in the day. I mean,
it holds up to you, but if I gave it to my 7-year-old nephew, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like when I was a kid, I could play Pac-Man, but you know what I mean? It's not fucking. It's not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. Like, it's just.
Yeah, I think they want something a little bit different.
It's fast, like Minecraft, like these games where you can just mentally wander and there's no goals, there's goals, but it's, you don't die. Like, that's a big game now, is like, there's a Conan game where you go around, kind of like Minecraft now, there's survival mode, and you just, or like that spacecraft one where you go around and you fucking mine ores and then you build shit. And it's a big style of game now. That's what kids like. And they like watching stupid shit. People unpackaging, unwrapping games. They like that. They like kids nowadays, and it's how it will always be. Whatever their parents like, they will not like. It's just tough shit.
That's true.
And then when they're older, they might like it, or they might like what their grandparents like. But we like Golden Girls when I was a kid, but we didn't like fucking Oprah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's.
No, I hear you. No, it's. I guess it makes sense when you look at it that way, but. There's so many different reasons we don't like the same music our parents really liked. And then
but we all like Led Zeppelin, right?
Yeah, and then you grow older, you appreciate it. Yeah, so I guess I see what you mean. Music doesn't really matter.
Or even like language, right? Like my dad, his dad spoke Italian, but my dad didn't like his dad, so he don't speak Italian. It's like he did not want to be. My dad, growing up in New York City, didn't want to be considered Italian. He wanted to be American, but his dad was all Sicilianed up. Socialist, and my dad was like, "Nah, I'm a capitalist American. Fuck my dad." And then then the next generation is all like fake Italians, like because then we get back to the heritage, because we're like, because we are American. You know what I mean? Like, we're not Italian at all. My dad was like a mix, but then he's like, "No, I'm not American." And then but the older generation was straight not American, didn't want to be American, spoke their own language, said fuck off. But that's like how I seen it from being the third generation or whatever the fuck it's called. You know what I mean? Like, my grandparents were basically off the boat, or they were back and forth between countries when they were young. So they were like, first generation. My dad did not want to be Italian. He would, almost embarrassed. But
I guess it is the way it is with kids. We don't want anything. We have this.
It's that teenager mind,
Yeah.
It's not even that you hate where you come from. It's just you want to see more. You want to see stuff that's different.
You don't want the same thing that your parents are going to tell you. This is the way it is. Yeah.
You gotta fucking explore.
And
then you're fucking 30 and you're like, damn, I can't believe I wish my ill on my parents ever. Or you become 50 and your dad's, or I mean.
Yeah. Now then you start.
Your dad can die any day, actually. But be nice.
Yeah, even in your
like
20s
fuck,
and 30s. Yeah,
16.
I never met either of my grandparents. Both of my grandparents died when my parents were younger, so I never met either of my grandparents. My grandfathers. I'm sorry. I knew my grandmothers, but I never met
I
either
met
of my
one of my
grandfathers.
grandfathers, both my grandmothers.
Yeah. So you gotta. I mean, that shows you.
They're
It
all
can be
dead
anytime.
now.
That's-
Fucking. That's how it goes. You check out.
When you're done, you're gone. So before this whole thing started, I gave you a piece of paper with 11 circles on it, as I give everybody, and I give some markers and such, and I say, here, see what comes to mind. And so here's what came for you. I always put it up there for everybody else to see. So I got to ask this. So we got the first gentleman in the middle with purple hair, the orange and purple gentleman in the middle. He's where everything started. So I've noticed a lot of faces and a lot of face imagery on here. Is anything? Are there particular people, or are these just?
Oh, that's just me doodling.
Just
I like drawing
doodles?
faces and hands because they're hardest.
Yeah,
that's
well,
what I practice
for sure.
the most. But yeah, this is doodles.
Yeah, no, I mean it's
A lot of circles.
I like the dude in the middle. I like the look on him. He's got the cool
If
hair
I had
growing.
more time, I wanted to draw a bunch of people, but then I was like, this could take me forever. I'm gonna just fucking quit.
No, it's and this dude here, the as they see them off to the right, with the big glasses. That's a pretty cool use of the two circles.
This has got like a pizza head almost. He's very V-shaped head.
Slice of pizza. Well, I like it. It's a lot of different people, but there's some angst in these pictures, though. I'm feeling some serious emotion, except for the dude in the middle. Except for the dude in the middle, he's the only one who's kind of chill. Everyone else is kind of it's it's a little more emotion than
They're
everybody else.
emotional. Yes,
Yeah.
Passionate people.
I guess
I'm a passionate man.
it shows. See, it shows. It goes through. And then what happened here? What is the circle
That
off
is
to the dude?
actually his hair.
Oh, it's his hair coming up. Okay.
Maybe that's a bonnet. I don't know. What's the thing you put your hair in?
Oh, like a bun?
Bun?
Like a man bun kind of thing?
Yeah, well, not a bun, but like the clip, and then the hair would be coming out of the clip. That's a big clip because your circles are big.
Okay.
But now it didn't come out. Maybe
No,
like
I get you.
This.
No, I see what you're saying now. Now I see it, like when it's all clipped up. Right, yeah. Yeah, what do they call that now?
Man bun?
Yeah, they call it a man bun.
But I don't mean necessarily the bun, because this circle thing is just
Is the
actually
clip.
like a brooch.
Right.
Or
Okay.
whatever the fuck.
Hair clip.
Hair deal.
Yeah, hair clip.
Yes.
No, that's cool. I like it. It's some people are like, I can't draw people. They do stick figures, but they still wanted to do people for some reason, doing stuff, and that's so it's kind of cool to see
I'll
the different
draw
emotions.
anything.
Oh, I like seeing what comes out of people's heads.
And I like faces and eyes and things like that. What did I read? I was reading this book. It's about neuroscience, and it's about Behave, I think it's called.
Okay.
Why do people do the things they do, pretty much? And it was like written by a neurosurgeon, neuroscientist, and evolutionary scientist, I think. And what he was saying is like, yeah, like facial recognition, like being able to see eyes and seeing predators helps people survive. But like if you oversee them and you see faces and everything, well, what humans call that is creativity. So if you see, like, so if you see a lot of things that aren't actually there, it's how you get art.
Well, that's going to definitely.
Well, one type of art.
Yeah, that's going to come into play later for sure. So you're going to see why in a little bit. So,
neuroscience.
Well, then exactly. This is all going to fit together when we wrap this up with the other piece of paper I got hiding under here on you.
Oh shit.
So I do ask a question to everybody, and I guess we kind of brought something like this up. But if you died today, like if today was your last day on Earth, how would you feel about the life you've led, minus not, say, accomplishing everything you've done? Like, how would you feel about the life you've led, the people and connections you've made?
I'm good. My wife doesn't like when I say this, but yeah, I'm good. I did enough. I don't give a fuck.
That's good. A lot of people say like I know people are like, oh, I haven't seen all the. No, I get that. We're in our 30s, and we're not. We haven't had enough time, but. I know a lot of people worry about.
But there are people at 27 that did more than some people that are 80.
Well,
so
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends how much you did and what you wanted to do. I did enough. I'm good. I've seen enough people. I've done enough drugs. I've met enough. I mean, I'm married. I got a house. Got a car. I got nephews. I got my family's old enough now they can take care of them fucking selves, or they're dying. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm good. I don't need to do shit. I mean, and that's a big part of my comedy. I can just say whatever I want because I'm fucking satisfied.
I like it.
Or never satisfied. It's a weird mix.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm never satisfied with anything I do, but at this point in my life, I'm like, cool, I did enough.
That's not a bad.
But if I'm alive, you got to keep going because the world don't wait. You know.
Yeah. So if you could go back to one point in your life, not like a day, but if there was a time, like a general time frame in your life that you could, go back and spend eternity at that point in your life, where would you want to go? I know, like, for example, somebody said, oh, my freshman year of college, because I moved out, I had my friends, I was on my own, and feeling like that. But I mean,
I'm good now. If I could just ride it out.
You would ride it right here. You'd hang. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm married. I got my wife, got my dog, got my house. We're happy. If I go too far back, it's I'm still figuring shit out. You know what I mean?
No, that's.
But there's plenty of times if you were like, dude, you could go back. I'd be like, I'd go back with what I know now to pretty much any time, and I figured out,
Well, yeah, I mean, we all have the.
But I'm 32, so like my body's not the best it's ever been, but it's not. It's only gonna get progressively worse. So if I could stop now, like Highlander, and you just keep your body and get my head like not, you have to die violently, but not kill yourself, and then you get stuck. Like so, if you die at 12 like that, then you're a 12-year-old until you die, get your head cut off.
Yeah.
But like, 32 this is not a bad time to where I could die and then be immortal in this body forever.
It's not too bad.
It's only gonna get worse as I go.
It ain't
so if you talk to me in 5
Mm-hmm.
years or 10 years, I might be like, yeah, I would like to go back to the last time I seen you.
Go back to 32 when my body was a little.
Because it's still falling apart. But I mean, I think 27 I was in great shape. Late bloomer.
Well, no, they say that 25 to 27 is like the peak.
I think the main thing is why I wouldn't want to go back to college times when I was younger is my mental. I'm fully developed now mentally. Like I feel like I'm better in a mental state than I was ever. Yeah. I'm more comfortable in my own skin. No, I'm okay with being weird and people looking at me. I don't care. Like, I don't give a shit. When I was younger, I was always worried about people not liking you, and they're never gonna like you. They just won't. If you're weird, you're weird. Then you can pretend to be normal all you want. Get over that. But I think it has a lot to do with you're competing with all this yourself.
No, it makes sense.
Nitwits.
Yeah, well, definitely with the nitwits for sure. So
peer pressure. It's like now 10 people could tell me to do something stupid. I'd be like, fuck off, and I'd be confidently telling them all to fuck off individually. When I was younger, I'd be like, oh, maybe they're onto something. Like I used to think democracy worked. Now I'm just like, oh, just because it's popular doesn't mean shit. People love popularity and being good are not the same thing at all.
Yeah.
They can go together, but I mean, they don't have to at all.
No, and that's why you haven't eaten any Tide Pods.
Yeah, or Pet Rocks. I didn't bought that. I liked Pogs at one point. You know what I mean, fads.
Yeah, everybody loves a good fad once in a while. So, but I did mention something about this was all going to tie back in, which it is. So before every podcast, I make an ink blot for every person. It's just a random ink blot. It's not a Rorschach test or anything like that. I just make them.
Sounds like a Rorschach test.
Yeah, but there's no book that says if you see this, you need to be put in a room with no sharp objects. So, this isn't really that, but this is just more. I make these, so I make one, and this is what Chris is looking at right now. So that's what he sees. So I always ask my guests, and I said, "What do you see in this particular ink blot?"
Skeletor, maybe a skeleton man.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
Or a roach man, something like that. Some type of insect person.
So the face kind of looking down here, yeah.
Yeah, maybe some tentacles on the left and right.
Yeah, I see a couple praying mantis heads up here for some reason.
Okay,
a couple praying mantises going at each other. I see that, but.
Or lungs.
Or a pair of lungs, yeah.
Black smoker lungs.
Yeah, unfortunately, I guess that's what happens to them. So.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that's a neat one. So you can hang on to that if you'd like. It's yours. I don't recycle them. I give them to each guest.
How do you make this? You just
it's acrylic paint on paper. It's what they're seeing. So I just pretty much.
I like acrylic paint. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I take acrylic paint, drip it on from above, and then fold it over, squish it all around, and then I open it up, and that's what happens right there. I get a thing, and then so then we see what they see. So, so you mentioned you mentioned before you have a few shows coming up. So if you want to pull them up, unless you remember where they all are, and we can let people know where they're all.
Good Comedy Theater Thursday, and then Wednesday. So tonight I'm gonna be somewhere.
Right. So where this is airing, I'm sorry, I forgot the day already, even though I said it a moment ago. I apologize.
23rd or some
21st.
shit. 21st.
So you're watching this. This is airing Wednesday, March 21st. So as he's saying.
So tonight, if it's 21st right now, I will be at Bob and Barber's doing a show with Matt Morgan. Fenris. Check out Fenris. Everybody fucking hates Fenris. He does. I think it might be burlesque comedy. I don't know what it is, but it's gonna be fun.
A little mix of both, yeah. So
Bob and Barber's, and
it's always a good show. I know a lot of the guys might be Ramon even showing up there. He tends to do some of the shows with him.
And then the 22nd is gonna be This Delinquent Life at Good Comedy Theater at 9:00, I think, and that's gonna be a good one.
Definitely check that out.
And the 24th, I'm gonna be in Jersey in Mount Holly.
Okay.
Somewhere
in
that's
Mount
a place.
Holly. Well, hopefully I'll get a link from you beforehand.
Well,
if there's something, I'll get something to post below.
Just go online, type Chris Stenta Mount Holly. If it doesn't show up, don't worry about it. It's not that important.
So I'll put links.
And April 1st, I have a show, and it's on Easter with Eric Terrell. Google Eric Terrell. He's funny. He does helium and punchline. He does all this shit.
Eric Terrell is great. I want to have him on here, I hope. So I'm going to have to talk to him next time I see him at High Note.
Yeah, I've been working on sketches with him, some stuff we've been putting on. And this is another thing you'll realize when you work with good people. Everybody wants to Facebook tweet, da-da-da-da-da. Nobody edits shit like you're saying. They just put it on a table and expect everyone to kiss their ass. Good people, you're not going to see half the shit they're doing. You're only going to see a very, iceberg, John, like just the tip of it. You're going to see, because, there's a billion things I work on that I will never publish because it's just not where I want it to be.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm not just throwing... When I go fishing, I don't just throw it randomly. You got to aim, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to cast in the right
direction. You got to know what you're trying. And that's another thing. You don't know what you want, then how the fuck what are you making? Yeah. All these people are just saying things to get laughs, but, what do you want? If you want to just get people to laugh, that's pretty easy to do. You can just hit yourself with a fish. Why are you writing jokes? If you're just going to do recycled fucking stereotypical garbage jokes, then it's why? Is that because you just want to be famous? Fine. But if you want to create something cool. I mean, this is a fight me and Tommy getting all the time. Me and Tommy have different views on where we want to go and what we want to do. He's all about the money, the fast cars, the life, the whole atmosphere. It's me, it's I want to make, a Sistine Chapel. I don't need to be Michelangelo. I just want to make a masterpiece.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what it is yet because I'm still building. Does that make fucking sense?
No, it does. So whether it's an album or a show or something, it's... You want that thing to be right. I can level with you. It makes perfect sense because, like we said, why do something if you're not going to put your heart into it? Why make something that's not finished and complete?
And if you're doing it for ladies or men or money or, you want everyone to be like, that guy's the best, then it's get a fucking hire somebody who's actually a creative genius. You can make money. There's easier ways to make money than stand up. Be a real estate agent. You know what I mean? If you want to be a fake piece of shit who rips people off, then why there's better ways to make money than stand up. Be a social networker, whatever the fuck. Be a trendsetter, whatever the fuck. Go take, you don't need to write, you don't need to work hard, you don't need to be creative, But if you want to be a real stand up, it's not, you don't do stand up to make money. You do movies to make money so then you can do stand up, which is the thing you love, right?
Yeah.
I don't understand when I see all these people that think that they want to be an entertainer. It's all right, then. Then come up. Then you can't like yourself. If you want to be an entertainer, then be a hack. If that's what you want, then come up with catchphrases. Get a fucking thick accent. Do accents. Do puppet shit. Do hack shit. Because that's what people want to be entertained with. They don't want to be entertained with this fucking Bill Hicks diatribe that's half funny, half makes you think.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily American comedy. American comedy is just a never-ending story that fills in with commercials, That's what I think American comedy is shit.
Yeah, it's not the same as it was back in the day, like Richard Pryor. I mean, those guys were geniuses back in the day.
But even Richard Pryor, right? everyone wants to act like, oh, this is a self-made man. He did everything himself. It's like, no, he had a fucking stable of brilliant writers that you would watch the writers stand up and you'd be like, I can't watch that. Like, a lot of white people will watch Mooney and be like, oh, he sucks. He's just a race baiter or say some ignorant, dumb shit. And it's like, yeah, because Mooney just says whatever the fuck he wants and what he thinks is funny to him. And when he was writing for Richard Pryor, he was saying shit for white people. It wasn't like Richard Pryor was writing all those jokes. Mooney wrote a lot of those jokes, and he wrote them for a person for mainstream attention. You know, it's like if you want to be an observation, like it's like these, like Jerry Seinfeld's an observational comic, but he never talked about, you know, the crack epidemic or race inequality, or, you know, he didn't observe any of these things going on in New York when he was doing his show. He didn't observe anything. But what did he observe? The difference between Thai food and Jamaican food, or some dumb shit, you know, peanuts on the fuck. Like, he didn't really observe much, because if he observed all these things that were actually going on in the underbelly, then yeah, he would have been a rapper. He wouldn't have been a fucking stand-up at that time. You know what I mean? Like, you're not getting mainstream. He's the most successful stand-up ever. Him and like Jay Leno makes just poop out money, but they're like, and Letterman. But what are they? Are they Republicans? Are they Democrats? Are they anything? No, they just say generic shit that makes the most people laugh. So they're just McDonald's food. They're not steak and eggs. You know what I mean? Like, it's just consumable trash. And then people look up to these people, and I don't. And then they say, like, I don't like your comedy. Well, you shouldn't, because I don't like your role models. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, who am I fighting with?
Yeah.
I'm not doing comedy for you. I'm not doing comedy for your nitwit friends. Like, you can watch Big Bang Theory, or you can watch Arrested Development. Watch whatever the fuck you want. But if you're asking me what I like to watch, I prefer Arrested Development. I like BoJack Horseman. I like where it's clever writing, and they also talk about dark, twisted, deep adult things.
Yeah.
It's because I'm a fucking adult. The fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to watch Cartoon Network and see the silly, like, if you turn on Cartoon Network, because it always happens, because I watch late cartoons on Adult Swim, and then the next day, if I turn it on at 5, 6 o'clock when I get home, it's Teen Titans, guaranteed, for at least the next 3 hours. And it's like, there's no substance. There's no plot, barely any plot.
It's just to entertain you enough to get to the next commercial.
That's it. It's just bright and loud, and there's no and I feel like a lot of entertainers are like that. They're just, I'm gonna just yell at you till you pay attention, and then I'm gonna try, you know, and that's it. And they're entertaining a world that's so used to that.
And it's not satisfying, but like, the show's job isn't to be satisfying, right? It's supposed to be cliffhanger to get you back to the next show, or get you through to the commercial break.
Yeah.
You know, and some shows just aren't made like that, so they get canceled after a season, like Freaks and Geeks or Arrested Development. But even those shows aren't, you know, the thing that I want to watch doesn't exist yet, so I want to create it. You know what I mean?
That's what we need to do. I'll watch it.
Does that make sense?
I'll watch it. If it's something that's going to hold me that tight to it, I will guarantee I will watch the shit out of that.
But that's the thing, right? I want to do something I'd never seen before, something that's rewatchable, and if it's not there, then I'll make it, you know?
That's how creative people want to do things. You make something. That's why engineers, they're
But
like,
I'm never satisfied, never.
Well, it is hard to be when it is when you want to make something. It's hard to be. You know, you're always going to find a little something, whether it's furniture work, you know, doing woodwork, or you're building something. You're always going to find something, and it's always, you know, I work in real estate development, and when you see a punch list and you see the list of shit, I guarantee you, once that punch list is done, guess what? You can go through again and make a whole nother one, and it's never going to be perfect.
And that's why you can't look at the big list, right? You got to look at one, do one. Look at two. If you look at the whole list, it's overwhelming and you want to shoot yourself.
Yeah.
I've been in the punch list scenario, and you're right, it's never ending. And some people are easily satisfied, and other people are never satisfied. So I guess you can't win.
No, you gotta do what you love. If you end up doing what you love, like you said, you're happy where you are. And that's a rarity, because I think that's the first time that somebody said, you know, I stay right here. I like where I am. To be at that point, that's something. And not a lot of people seem to be able to say that. I mean, maybe comedians, it's tough, but I don't even talk just about the comedy part of it. A lot of the guys that I know from High Note, they're not full-time comics. It's, you know, they enjoy it, and that's fair. But, you know, for a lot of people, being here and now, being where they want to be, is something, you know. That's
well, and it's also depressing, right? Because, like, okay, most people, they're still looking up to things. They have goals and ambitions. You know, me, I'm like, nah, I'm satisfied. So, because if you already, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? Like, it's like, okay, there's nowhere but down from here now. Whereas other people are still looking up and hopeful. It's like if I talk to myself when I was 14 or 15 and it'd be like, yeah, like, you get paid good money to do full-time demolition and you do part-time jokes and you do stand-up and you get to smoke weed every day and you own your own house, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, 14-year-old me would be pretty fucking happy, right? Like, I mean, what better job lined up for what I thought I wanted to what I got is pretty lined up pretty accurately. But then it's like I have it now and I'm still like a miserable fuck, you know? Even though it's the best part of my life and I wouldn't want to go back to any other part, it's now what? You know, you get that high-paying job, you get everything you ever wanted, you get even the field you want, and then you still get a part-time hobby that you love and you're passionate about, and then you're still not happy, and then you're like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
And then you try to explain this to other people. It's like, oh, you think you want this and this and this and this, but it's like, dude, I got everything I wanted. You might still not be happy. And then you get in this weird existential crisis, which is great.
And some people they never are happy. So you've got to find the things you love and bring them close to you.
And that's the thing. I think it's also mental, right? Some people are just always happy when they're 12, and then they're always happy when they're 80, even if their life falls apart. And then other people, their life's great, and they're always miserable. They get everything they ever wanted, and that just, like Michael Jordan got 6 championships, and that's not enough. Another guy's got 0, and it's more than enough. Just like, fuck, you know?
Yeah.
But if you're satisfied easily, then how are you going to create anything worth creating? You'd just be satisfied with your breakfast. You know, it's hungry people that make great art. It's people that aren't satisfied.
Yeah.
But then you get into brain chemistry and biochemistry, and it's like, yeah, well, we don't really have a lot of control over that. We just think we do. There's no magic elixir that's going to make you happy. Like, you get Conan's job, and then you're still fucking... Conan's miserable. Right? Like, he doesn't look like a happy person.
No.
He's got everything he could ever wanted. He could have filled out his whole dream when he was a kid, and he's still not satisfied.
Yeah. I'm hosting a talk show live at night every night, and now he's like, yeah. And I guess it's maybe the more money you have, the more problems it does. Some people say, the more stuff you end up with, which maybe there is that medium that's like, okay,
how did you end up with all that stuff? Because you weren't ever satisfied and you were a miserable wreck, so you keep working to get things to make you happy, and more things will make you happy, more things will make you happy, and then at some point you realize that's a myth, right? You're going to have a whole basement filled with gold, and you're not going to be happy.
No.
You're just never going to be happy. That's how you got all the gold in the first place. So it might not even be like a cause and effect thing. It's just, people who are satisfied with nothing, why would they hoard things? They're already satisfied. And the people who are never satisfied are going to walk, like Jay Leno is clearly never satisfied. He can't just walk away and smoke a blunt and relax. He always has to get more and more and more and more. Like, go the fuck away. Eat shit and die already. You have enough fucking things, you piece of shit. Like he's just an awful human being. Like, you have enough, Seinfeld. Why are you suing a person over, right? Like, you can't just give the guy money for your freaking cars and coffee show. I don't get these billionaires, these rich,
I know.
selfish, greedy jerkwads. I'm cursing by accident.
No, like I said, I'm not worried about it, but we don't worry about keeping it PG on this podcast for sure, so I have no problems. But look, I'm going to make sure that you guys get out and check out Stenta's show. I'll make sure those were the dates. I'll make sure I put some links below. Outside of the this Delinquent Life, is there anything you want me to put out there for people? Any kind of social media or anything you want? Or
check out Weeding Out the Stone. I'm there like every while. Alex Gruber runs it. He's in New York now, but he runs it in Good Comedy Theater in Philly and Chinatown. And check out Weeding Out the Stone. It's a great local show. It sells out every week.
I'll make sure I put up a link for Good.
I think I'm on a Friday one. Yeah, check out all their shit.
Yeah, because Good. That's. I mean, like, I know we see you there. Like you said, once a month you do this Delinquent Life. So I'll put a link for Good down below. So make sure you guys get out there for that. And check out some of Stenta's other shows that he mentioned. So I'll put some links up. Make sure you guys get it. Check out this Delinquent Life. Absolutely, it's a blast. I was on it. It's a great time.
Every Tuesday, 9:30, laughcast.com.
There you go, laughcast.com. So I'll put the link down below, and you guys can check it all out. And again, thank you so much, sir, for coming on this podcast. This is an absolute blast. I had a pleasure.
Yes, thanks for having me.
No problem. It's always good having good, fun people on here that want to talk, which is nice.
I talk too much.
Well, no, it's fine. If you do a show and you have people on to talk, squeezing blood out of a rock isn't a lot of fun. So it's nice having people who want to say
I
stuff.
can yell over anyone.
So,
nice meeting you.
So everybody, thank you. Like and subscribe below. It helps make me make these things. And I've got a Patreon now, folks. There's a link below down there. Check out the Patreon. It helps make me do stuff. Brings me new mics, things like that. So this will sound better and look better. And as always, folks, don't forget your toilet poncho. Take care.